CUCU-CUCURELLA se come una paella. CUCU-CUCURELLA se bebe una estrella. Jalan tiembla que viene Cucurella. Jalan tiembla. Toma una galleta.
Calling all my footy fans from all around the globe. Straight out of NYC, this is The Linebreaker.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to The Linebreaker. I'm Pano.
I'm Dimitri, a.k.a. Juicy.
And the Euros is done. It's all done. How many weeks has it been?
3 weeks, I think.
That's it? It feels like it's been longer. Either way, it's been a very enjoyable 3 weeks. I can't complain too much. I can't. I mean, basically, this went exactly how Juicy expected it. So
Not really.
I mean, you said Spain would win.
No, I said France was gonna win.
Oh, from the beginning.
Yeah, but I had Spain win in the final.
I did say it was coming home. But I also did say that if England didn't win, it was because of Southgate. I think I was on the money. Cole Palmer on the bench?
I mean, that's a good managerial substitution.
Who? Southgate?
Yeah, bringing on Palmer.
He should have been starting.
I mean, I agree with you there.
We'll get into that. Look, obviously, as we all know, Euro 2024 finished with a 2-1 victory to España. Opening thoughts. Just off the dome.
Well deserved. Think they're the best side throughout the whole tournament, and I think they were the best side during that game.
Yeah, it's tough to complain about that. I mean, look, I think there was like a moment where England had the upper hand, and of course, just like Southgate did what Southgate does, and he figured out a way to completely neutralize whatever momentum that they had. So I don't know.
You're putting all the blame on Southgate?
Absolutely. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I can't. There were 4 hideous triplets in that game. I mean, I'm sorry, quadruplets. 4 hideous quadruplets. Gareth Southgate was like the big brother, or I guess they're quadruplets, so he can't be the big brother. Southgate number 1, Saka number 2, Foden number 3, Bellingham number 4. And you want to call them pentuplets? Let's put Kane in there too.
You really came at the manager and everybody in the attack, basically.
Yeah, they all ghosted. They were on fraud watch. Now they're really like it's looking rough for them. Definitely on fraud watch now. They ghosted in a final, European final. That's unforgivable.
You don't think Bellingham played somewhat up to task?
Why? Because he got an assist?
Well, I mean, besides that, I feel like he was contributing a little bit, don't you think?
Best of a bad bunch?
I guess you could call it that. I have the England side.
Saka would have been much better at left back.
Wow.
But speaking of left back.
Oh, here we go.
CUCU-CUCURELLA. Legend. What's not to like about him? The Germans hate him, but I love him. Best left back in the tournament.
Best left back in the tournament. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that.
I mean, nobody outperformed him. Nobody performed the way they did. Did you see that match-winning assist? That ball was perfect. Perfect.
Yep, in stride. And
he brought it down in the path. Like he struck it so clean. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, Cucurella had definitely had a great tournament, a great game. And people were worried that was like one of the weak links in Spain's squad going into the tournament.
Gary Neville in the mud. He said that Cucurella would be the reason why, or one of the reasons why Spain don't win the tournament. Well, who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Okay, what else do you think?
One, I think you're being a little too harsh on the English team in Southgate with the momentum.
Okay.
I think it comes down to... I think all the blame shouldn't just go on Southgate. I think the players have to take responsibility. But in this case, let's take a step back. And, you know, the quarterfinals, Spain played Germany. They were up 1-0. And they conceded late, 90-plus minute. And that's when, like, the tables really turned. The substitutions had been made. The front three for Spain was taken out. And, you know, it just seemed like Germany was going to just pound them in extra time. But Marino, what a header in extra time to send Spain to the semifinal. And I feel like that just showed how resilient Spain was. And, you know, they did it against Germany, who was playing great, the host nation at the tournament. And I think they were comfortable when it happened to them in the final. You know, we've been there before and we'll do it again kind of mentality.
I mean, you said it yourself. They easily performed like the best team at the tournament. So when you look at it like that, you can't complain too much. But, you know, obviously a lot of expectation on England, the team that they have, you know, their golden generation, quote unquote. I still think that player for player, England probably had a better team. But that doesn't mean anything, right? What matters is winning the game, and obviously Spain, I think, were deserved winners. Unfortunately, Gareth has this scaredy cat syndrome where he just doesn't know how to take advantage of games. There was a period in the match where England had them, especially when Palmer scored. By the way, Cole Palmer, the most deserving player of minutes at this tournament, and of course that fraud Gareth Southgate barely gave him playing time. He had 1 goal and 1 assist, and what was it, 140 minutes?
Something like that.
Some crazy.
I don't think Southgate had the guts to take out Bellingham, Foden, or Saka.
And that's the issue in itself. You got to have guts as a manager to be able to make those tough calls.
Yeah, I feel like some players, I guess you could make the case for it being like you can't substitute them. They have to be on the field. But I think on this England side, I think nobody was that kind of player where they were like protected at all times. I think every player, you know, could be substituted in this case, and Southgate didn't go forward with it and just stuck with what he started with, basically.
Oh, Cole Palmer played 145 minutes, by the way. And his creative metrics and everything like that, like, were basically just as good, if not better, than your frauds. Yeah, look, ultimately, the best managers are the best because they can make the tough calls. They have the guts. They don't care about what people say. They don't care what about the media says. They do what's best to get the results. And, like, yeah, sure, I guess you could say, like, oh, well, Pano, everything you just described is like what Southgate did. He got the results. But at the end of the day, he didn't. This is the second Euros in a row he's lost in the final.
Yeah, I feel like this team was playing much better than the Italian team they lost to in the previous final.
Yeah. Oh, this is definitely a better team than they lost. Like that. This, yeah, for sure. I mean, look, this makes that Italy loss look really, really bad. But still, look, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Spain weren't deserved winners. Spain had a fantastic team. I know I told you I didn't think that they had it in them. Obviously, they did. Who also would have expected a 17-year-old Lamine Yamal to steal the show again?
Well, 16 years old, just 17 for the final.
He was 17 for the final.
But 16 for 6 games.
Either way, he stole the show in the final.
I think he stole the show in the tournament. I don't think anybody expected him to just go out and pop off like that.
Look, we spoke a lot about him in the last pod, but he's special, man. I'm telling you, I think he's baby goat. I really think he's gonna be baby goat.
You just see him like so confident, comfortable, and I feel like he's not that kind of player that's afraid to try something new mid-game. You know, if something isn't working out for him, he tries something different. He, instead of staying out on the wing, he tries to go in. Instead of carrying the ball, he tries to run without the ball into open space and receive it that way. It's like he's been a pro for 10 years. It's crazy.
And he got an assist in the European final.
He got an assist to his good old pal Nico Williams,
who, he's trying to play agent with right now. He's trying to get Nico over to Barca, but seems like Barca's a little too broke for Nico Williams right now.
We're going to make it happen. Those TikTok videos where we're donating is going to put us over the edge.
Barca wants Dani Olmo and Nico Williams, and you can't afford either right now, so that's going to be interesting. I heard an interesting theory, by the way, on Nico Williams. So, you know how, like, right now it's, like, mostly being pushed, like, oh, like, Barca, the front runners, whatever?
Yeah.
But, like, Fabrizio keeps kind of throwing in there, like, oh, but there's obviously the interest there from the Premier League as well. Arsenal and Chelsea are big admirers. My theory, and I kind of borrowed this from someone else, but it makes sense. Barca is briefing that they're way ahead on Nico Williams, that he only wants them, and that's it. And they're probably doing this to try to, get other clubs to back off. But I think what the reality is that Nico Williams isn't 100% Barca. He's probably leaning towards Barca. He probably prefers Barca, but he's also not willing to wait around all summer for them, especially, with how their economic situation is. So he's probably open to the Premier League offers if he feels like the Barca thing isn't going to happen, and they don't figure their stuff out. So I think, especially with how Barca's financial situation is right now, a move to the Premier League is still in the cards.
I could see it happening, but I do think it's going to be him moving to Barca. I think the collective friend group on that Spain team pushed the needle for him. He was happy, always hanging around them. The Barca PR and was just pushing it.
Here's the question: who does Barca need more, Dani Olmo or Nico Williams?
I think they need Nico Williams. They need the other player on the wing, on the other side of Lamine.
I agree. I don't even know why they want Olmo. To get a youth player back?
Yeah, I think Olmo is just
the one that got away?
I think he's just like a bonus. I don't think they really need him, although it would be a good addition, and it would help with all the midfielders being hurt left and right now, and we're gonna start the season a couple of midfielders short, but I think Dani Olmo is a good addition.
I know we kind of like went off on a tangent there a little bit about transfers. Going back to the final.
Dani Olmo, great tournament as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Did he finish? Oh, no, he didn't get any goal involvement, so it was like a 6-way tie, right?
Yeah, I think he was involved in that, though. He was one of the players.
No, but he didn't get an assist.
No, I think it was the most goals.
Oh, yeah, he was in the 6-way tie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant he didn't break into like actual just undisputed number one.
No.
But Lamine Yamal with another goal involvement.
Yeah, and he got young player of the tournament. Solid throughout every game, honestly. Another player that played great. Nobody was expecting him to exceed his levels.
Succeed?
Yeah, succeed.
Oh, exceed his levels. Okay,
yeah.
That makes sense.
Fabian Ruiz. That midfield was out of their mind this tournament. That Spanish midfield, I think they were fantastic.
Made Declan Rice and Kobe Mainu look pretty average.
Fabian Ruiz, Dani Olmo, really completing the connection between the midfield and the attack. And Rodri was just holding things down in the middle. Although he did have to come out at halftime in that game, where I did think Spain was hit with a big blow there.
and Subamendi held it down. I mean, the announcers made it seem like it was chalked at that point, and that like this was going to be like England's chance to take advantage. And Subamendi, who by the way is also very highly rated, he held it down.
Yeah, once I saw Rodri come out, I thought like the pendulum was swinging, and it was just gonna be all England the second half. But Spain came out. I think they got their goal in the first 2 minutes, so that really put Spain on the front foot. And it never really changed like the way they played. I saw an interview Rodri gave after the game where he told the players, and he was telling the players throughout the tournament, when we have the ball, play like a big team, and when we don't have the ball, play like a small team. So, just play confident, open, and when you have the ball, and then when you don't have the ball, just sit tight. Everybody defends. We defend as a unit, and you saw that everybody was contributing defensively and in the attack.
And they looked good. They definitely looked good. I mean, look, even if you think about it, even the England goal, Cole Palmer, my boy, it was a beautiful goal, but it was more so on the counter, So Spain were good for the majority of that game. There's no denying that. But I think there was a game there for England for sure. But ultimately, at the end of the day, congratulations, Spain. I'm loving the videos that I'm seeing of the celebrations. I'm seeing Cucurella becoming a superstar before our very eyes. I didn't even know he had a TikTok song about him. Did you know he had a TikTok song?
No, I just saw him doing those. I found out when I saw him doing those crazy dances on the dinner table, and then during the celebrations.
The song, it's based off of like the Chelsea chant that they have for him. It's a little bit different. Obviously, it's in Spanish and stuff, but they tweaked it a little bit. The Haaland trembling thing is interesting. Unfortunately, we don't have Erling Haaland to be trembling at the Euros because he wasn't participating. But hey, whatever it is, what it is. Either way, it's been super fun to see that. It's been fun to see Spain win again, right?
I mean, with the way they played, yeah, why not?
But yeah, I mean, overall,
another player that played well, who was suspended for the semifinal game against France, and I said he was going to be a difference maker because he's a notorious winner with his club team. That was Carvajal at right back. I think he just held it down. You never see him really get caught out in bad spots. He's a solid defender and a guy who knows how to win, and that's what you need in a team that was, filled with youngsters.
You need that experience. Look, they had that experience with Nacho as well, even if he wasn't playing most of the games. There was experience in the Spain squad. I think overall what we're looking at is a squad different than the one that won in 2008 and 2012. 2008 and 2012, but also some similarities. Some young stars breaking through like Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. Different in the style of player, but not too dissimilar in terms of just the caliber and I guess the young stars breaking through. So it's been nice to see. Oh, obviously, how could I forget Pedri? Of course, I know he was hurt. Dani Olmo. He's not that Dani Olmo's super young, but still. So, there's young talent here that could be the core of the next generation of Spain, of Spanish players, of the Spanish national team.
Yeah, you also did have some players that couldn't be on the squad that were hurt. Some of the Barca boys, Gavi and Balde. You also did have that some players were kind of shocked by it, but Cubarsi was left off the roster when they thought he should have been a part of the Euro squad. But he's just a 17-year-old center back, so he'll just be 21 for the next Euros. I'll probably make the World Cup squad, barring any injuries. But yeah, they have a lot of talent that wasn't even on this roster, and they pulled through.
Now, just looking back at everything, are there any big shocks for this Euros for you?
I think the biggest, well, a crazy stat that I heard, huge, was Harry Kane had one touch in the opposing team's 18 in the 2 Euro finals combined. And that's like terrible from an experienced striker. Like, it's the fact that you can't get the ball to the striker, or the striker can't just create something in the 18 and get some touches. That means like there's no attack there for you. How are you going to get goals if your striker isn't touching the ball in the other team's 18?
He struggled a lot this tournament, honestly. Like, I was thinking that Harry Kane was going to have a good tournament considering he had a good season in Germany, but it wasn't there for him. I feel like he was trying to do too much, and like the team didn't really need him to do too much because like there's a lot of technicians already on the England team. I think they just wanted him to like score goals, be in the box, and just be more involved in like the final part of the play, not just the build-up where obviously he's well known for being able to drop deep and spray balls out wide and, connect. But I think England almost needed a more direct, more traditional striker. And obviously you could see with the inclusion of Ollie Watkins that England did play better when he was making runs in behind. He was wreaking havoc for the defenders. So I see that. I definitely see Harry Kane, being a big disappointment. That makes sense to me. I would say, for me, the big shock, trying to think. Scotland. No, I'm just kidding. Big shock for me, I would say Germany. That's kind of dumb too, right?
I mean,
they are the host nation.
I was just going off of players. Like, I have plenty of other players on the England team which I think they can perform the tournament and in the final. Mm-hmm. One of them being Foden. I think Foden was worse than Saka. At least Saka had, I think, 2 goal contributions in the whole tournament, but Foden was awful. He Mr. 007, no goals, no assists, 7 games. Just looked out of it. Really, couldn't create anything. He just looked like he was like floating, like he was just there. He really had no contribution, it felt like, to creating chances, dribbling past players, delivering the ball for Harry Kane, opening up for other players. I think he was just like on the field, and Southgate didn't have the guts to take him off for Palmer or someone else. So I feel like he let them down in the attack. The left back situation I don't consider to be bad due to Trippier playing out of position and Luke Shaw not being 100%.
He could have brought up an actual left back though, aside from Luke Shaw.
Yeah, that's true. But I think Pickford too. I never liked him, and I think the big moments he really let the team down. I think he was giving up like soft goals, and he was just like kind of all over the place. I don't know.
Pickford was terrible. Terrible. Should he have saved the goals that he conceded this game? I don't know, but still. I mean, he's got T-Rex arms. What are you gonna do? He can't even get to the ball. He can't.
Hey, I mean, yeah, it feels like a guy that's played his whole career at Everton, when they haven't been that great, being gassed up and brought up to a big national team. I don't know. There's just something suspect about it.
I'm trying to think of what else.
Who was the player that you think completely underperformed in the tournament and from like the final players?
I'll say Kane too.
Kane?
Of the final. Foden.
Okay.
Saka's not too far behind though.
Yeah, I don't think Saka had a great tournament, and
careful, the Arsenal fans are going to attack you.
They can attack me all they want.
Who would you say had the best? You gonna tell me Yamal?
The best tournament, I think it has to come from the Spanish side, and I think I'm going to have to agree with the player of the tournament, and I think it was Rodri. I think he was incredible in the midfield. He's just a special talent in the middle. He was like the glue for the whole team, just holding everything together. And that's why I just think Zubamendi's performance in the second half of the final should not be like looked over. I think that was, on paper, I think Rodri coming off was huge, but Zubamendi, high pressure moments, steps in and basically does his job well and gets the job done for Spain. And there was like there was no real hiccup in Spain in that second half. So big shout out to Zubamendi, and I think Rodri was crucial.
That's a good shout. Rodri's definitely a good shout. I'm gonna go with Dani Olmo, just cause why not? Just cause stats wise, I guess he had the best. But honestly, I was ready to say Lamine Yamal. A lot of people are saying Rodri deserves to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, I agree with those shouts. I agree.
It might be time for another midfielder to win it. I could see it. I could definitely see it. He obviously deserves it. Won the Premier League, won the Euros, so I can see it. Now here is my next question. Next Euros, 2030. It's Italy, Turkey. Who are your early front runners for that tournament?
Wait, what'd you say it was? 2030.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, 2028.
Hosted by...
Isn't it Italy, Turkey?
I'm not quite sure.
Thought it was.
But I think... Okay, if I had to tell you who I think is going to win...
Yeah.
So I don't care that both those countries would be hosting. I don't think either of those teams would win. I think the front runner for those tournaments is going to be Spain and Germany. I think Spain has, again, plenty of young players that I mentioned that weren't even on the squad that are going to mature and still be great players, and some players entering their prime. And I think that German side is going to mature even more. They had a good amount of youngsters that are just absolute ballers with Musiala, Ritz.
I was wrong, by the way. Euro 2028 is going to be hosted by England, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Joint tournament. Basically Great Britain plus
and
the
Ireland.
Republic of Ireland.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, England basically was a host to their own team in the previous tournament. I think they only played one game outside of England. But I'm going to stick with my guns here. Spain and Germany.
Third time in a row. It's coming home.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, they're hosting. It's got to come home, right?
I mean, they only played one away game last Euros when they lost to Italy. And I think that might have been the semifinal. Every other game they played in England.
It has to come home at some point.
Not in our lifetime.
Nah, it must. Hopefully by then, Jude isn't starting. I mean, Foden, Saka too. Honestly, Jude too. Forget them all. It's all about Cole Palmer, baby. Cole Palmer. All right, 2028. That was my early. It's coming home. That's it. Early predictions. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think I got it all out. Said my stats about Kane, my hype for Rodri, Lamine, great tournament. Nico Williams was also fantastic. Morata, the Stats Zone show, great tournament, occupying 2 center backs. Other than that, I mean, I think I said it all.
Yeah, no, definitely for me as well. But you know what? I gotta keep the people knowing, or I gotta keep letting the people know. We appreciate you guys. Okay, before we let you go, please leave those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Leave the 5-star reviews on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Interact with us. be part of the community. We want to know what you guys are thinking. We also just want to interact with you guys in general. So please go ahead and do that. And yeah, just look out for the Copa episode as well. It's gonna be coming out shortly after this one. So hey, other than that, my name is Pano.
I'm Dimitri, aka Juicy,
and we're out of here.